All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Yes, it is Monday. Um, I don't know about you, but occasionally these days are starting to get mixed up. Like, what day of the week is it? If you're having that trouble, I completely understand. For those of you who I don't know or who I've not yet met, welcome. My name is Jay, and the CEO of CashFlowDiary. What we do here is we help you become a bigger, badder entrepreneur using real estate, helping. Did something get messed up already? Oh, no. All right, so helping individuals like yourself learn the principles, the things that are necessary to go out there and build your first business, or maybe not your first business, but at least a business in some way, shape, or form. We happen to think that this particular time in all of our lives is a great time to do such a thing. But in order to build a business or to build a family or to build, well, anything, you must first build yourself. So we invest most of the time during these streams in the morning talking and sharing ideas and concepts and the things that are necessary in order to actually build business long term. The things that are necessary for you and I to, well, grow personally, to build our personal growth. So what does that mean? It means that you and I will never out earn our personal growth. Therefore, we invest time here making sure that things like that happen. Sometimes it's as simple as an elevation of thought. The way that you previously thought about something could be the very thing that's in front of you, could be the thing that's preventing you from seeing the next version of yourself, whatever that might look like. So, with that being said, if this is your first time here, do me a favor. Right now, literally right now, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, what have you, type the word first in the chat, because there will be a section where I want to just chat with you, talk to you, make sure that you're there, and most importantly, welcome you. And as we go through, catch you up on anything that may not be familiar to you. So I don't want that to happen at all. Because as you can see from, well, my shirt today, everybody has to improve. Everybody has to improve. And what you want to do is you want to be that person who's improving. So type first in the chat, that way we can make sure that we acclimate you properly here. And for those of you watching on Facebook, make sure you get over to our Facebook page at facebook.com/CashFlowDiary Live. Again, that's facebook.com/CashFlowDiary Live. For those of you watching on YouTube, you know you are already in the right place. Just go ahead and click that subscribe, the like, and then the notification bell. That would be very, very helpful for us. We would appreciate that greatly. Now, today, part of what I want to make sure that we discuss, what we talk about, is something that happened. Well, it was an article that was posted in one of our short-term rental groups, actually. So I know some of you, you're like, hey, I thought you did, short-term rental stuff. That's true, we do. This is not the stream for that. If that is information that you're looking for, please make your way over to cashflowdiary.com/learn live. Cashflowdiary.com/learn live. We have actually a presentation coming up on Wednesday and Thursday. So it's 2 days and it's all day. So instead of getting in your car, vehicle, plane, what have you, and going to a hotel and doing all that stuff and sitting down for an entire day, meeting a whole bunch of people that way, we'll have a smaller group, but more people, or same length of time, if you will. So by all means, feel free to come and join us again at cashflowdiary.com/learn live. So, where is that article? So there's an article that is the basis of what we're going to be talking about today. And for those of you wondering, yes, I just noticed that picture is really, 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 really crooked. So don't worry, we'll get that. All right, there's an article that I wanted to share or talk about because it happened to it happened over the weekend, I guess, and one of the questions today, or one of the questions I do get from time to time, is, things like, Jay, how quickly can I make money? Or people always start, or sometimes their initial conversation with, Jay, I need money, etc. Or this just happened to me and I need XYZ. And they're wanting to know the fastest way to make that happen. How can I get money? That type of situation. So I figured we'd talk about this particular article because it represents a concept that we had talked about before. So this article represents a concept that we had talked about before. And I believe it was Dietra who tagged me or posted it. And I wanted to make sure that we all got to get caught up on it. So there's a small little video inside this article right here that is about it. Let me see, we'll be able to get past. Is there gonna play an ad? There we go. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Pause. Let's go back. So I'm gonna do my best. So basically, when it comes down to is when you are considering trying to find your way through, so to speak, one of the best questions that you can ask yourself is, how can I provide value? All right, but keep that in mind as we go through this particular article together.
A shortage of the critical protective gear for frontline healthcare workers.
Want to avoid pinching? What's your name?
But a month ago at the dining room table, Lori and Kevin Hamama got an idea. Potentially game-changing, life-saving idea.
So can you take big, deep breaths?
Lori, a family doctor in Ohio, was worried. The N95 masks in her hospital were in short supply.
I had a meeting that day and just mentioned, I'm afraid we're going to run out of N95s. I think I said, I don't know if I'm going to have a mask.
That's when Lori's husband, Kevin, an engineer, asked a simple question.
I said, why don't you just clean them up? And Lori said, well, what do you mean?
Kevin works for Battelle, a nonprofit research institute that routinely tests for dangerous pathogens, and remembered a study they did 5 years ago showing medical masks could actually be cleaned and reused in an emergency.
We hit the ground running Friday night. I think we were drawing schematics of what something could look like.
It means you sat down with a paper and started drawing.
Absolutely, yeah. I was describing what ICU looked like, where the airflows were. I mean, we got into it right away.
By the way, you're obviously the perfect couple for each other.
The following week, testing on masks began.
How long did it take to get this FDA approval?
I think it was a total of 14 days where we had the green light from the FDA.
Now, I don't know how often you guys work with the federal government, but that's blazingly fast.
Yeah.
Here's how the technology works. A hydrogen peroxide vapor decontaminates the N95 masks. It takes about 2.5 hours, and the masks can be cleaned and then reused 20 times.
Each one can handle about 80,000 masks a day.
That's a game changer for hospitals, isn't it?
I mean, that's an entire hospital's worth over a few days.
The decontamination systems are already being used in Ohio, Washington, and New York, and launched in Boston over the weekend.
We can't get this technology up and running fast enough.
With more scheduled to be delivered around the country.
Do you guys sit there and just think, wow, we were so lucky that I had you, you had me, we had that moment?
Yeah, I still don't think it's fully sunk in yet. It's overwhelming to think that it started with an after-dinner conversation, drawing it out on a piece of paper and seeing if it was even feasible.
A nurse in Ohio wrote to Lori to thank her, and she said she walked into her break room at the ICU and saw boxes of clean masks, and it felt like Christmas Day. And it's about to be Christmas Day in a lot of places in this country. Overnight, the Department of Defense said it was commissioning 60 of these machines worth $415 million on top of already pledging to pay for operational costs for the machines in other hospitals for an additional $400 million. They're going to be all around the country by early May. Back to you guys.
Stephanie, wow. Thank you so much. I love that story.
I was out on Long Island last week where they're actually using one of the systems, and they've said it's a game changer already.
Wow.
Already.
The nurse is seeing a fresh mask and saying it's like Christmas. I mean, it just tells you everything you need to know. Good.
To all the people questioning right now.
All right. So let's do this really quickly, or kind of quickly. You just saw the same article or video, if you will, a video of the article, and in the chat right now, because again, I don't know how many, presentations, webinars, all that type of stuff that you've been attending lately. I'm guessing it's more than normal. And the only way to make sure that your retention increases is by participating. So your participation in the chat, yes, it's awesome and it helps, algorithms and all that other stuff. But it's ultimately so that you can retain the information. So I'm going to ask you to write one thing, just one, that you got, one printable, one something that went through your mind when you saw what you just saw, okay? Just one thing. I don't really care what. I just want you to write something one time in that, so that you can hopefully see some of the things that we're talking about. I'm curious to hear what the things that you're talking about. And let's see if this works. Now, you guys are funny. So, Peter, I understand. I would put me on the Jedi side too, okay? But Darth Vader needs to improve, so I can't discriminate. He's got to learn too, It's all good. It's all good. So my point is simple. All right, one thing: clean mask. Yes, okay, you saw that. Passion, absolutely. I like some of the things, that we're talking about here, because what is it? So yes, Jasper says passion, and again, for whatever reason, YouTube is working properly with the comments, but Facebook still is not. This is so great. Let me see what else we've got. We've got entrepreneurs solving problems. Yes, absolutely. Yes, you said that already. Yes, I like it. And then, Bill over here on Facebook says that you are never too old. I like it. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. I like it. Now, mind you, it's not like they were just sitting around trying to come up with things of that nature. And Dalton is talking about innovation. 100%, guys. These are the things that you heard me say it differently. I said, where there's chaos, there's cash flow, right? And this is exactly what happens every time there's chaos, right? There's a disturbance in the force, if you will, and we all up level, we all get better, we all start to figure out or reorganize our thoughts around the actual issue at hand, right? We reorganize our thoughts around the issue at hand. Yes, there is a reaction to it. Yes, it can feel a certain kind of way. Yeah, all of that is true, right? It doesn't make it any less true that those things are the case. It doesn't. It just really, really doesn't. And yet, at the same time, the point can simply be made that, wow, that's a great opportunity. Now, I'm not the owner of, what did he work for? Battelle, right? And I don't know if you heard the numbers, right? Because this came from a nonprofit organization, right? A guy who works at a nonprofit organization. Now, don't confuse nonprofit with they don't get paid. Please don't confuse those two things. That would be really, really bad. And there's a number of things to think about with that, right? Earlier, before, I know I've said things like, you don't have a money problem. You have an idea problem. Can you see, hopefully you can, but can you see how this idea solved money problem, so to speak, if you will? Let's pretend for a second that Battelle had a money problem. They had a money problem. This idea, do you think, let me see, they said almost $815 million, right? Understand, 60 days ago, this was not a thing. It is a thing. At the beginning of this year, it was not a thing, but it is now a thing. Does it have to take a long time? No. What does it depend upon? It depends upon your ability, my ability, our ability to deliver value, okay? To deliver value, okay? Here's what I mean very specifically. If you want to earn a significant income, or if you want to earn an income, just solve a problem. That's number one, okay? So somebody, please write that in the chat. If you want to earn an income, solve a problem. Simple. If you want more income than what you are currently used to, then solve a bigger problem, okay? Right now, the majority of Americans and individuals, they do solve a problem. The problem that they solve is that there's an employer, business owner, who needs an employee to execute a part of their plan. There's nothing wrong with that plan. It has worked, right? It works for many people. Some of you probably may not want that plan anymore, and that's also okay. But understand, the principle is the same. The employee is providing value to the business owner. The moment the employee does not provide value to the business owner is when they lose their job, in most cases, okay? And even more so, when the business goes through a tough time, guess what? The employee that's cut last, if any are cut, is the one that provides the most value, who has the highest ratio of value, right? So you could have 20 people all quote unquote doing the same job, but the ones that stick, they keep, will be the ones providing the most value. You can decide who that is, but I promise you, every employer has a way of figuring out like who is that, because when it's time to get lean and mean and be more efficient with whatever revenue there's there, that's exactly what's happening. Same thing here. Self-employed or you're a freelancer, the ones who provide the most value to their clients, those are the ones that are going to be kept. You want bigger income. Great, totally understood. Solve a problem, then solve a bigger problem. And then the next step, okay, so first we wrote solve a problem, solve a bigger problem. Now, here's the thing. Here's the concept. Get ready to catch it. Solve a bigger problem. You want it to still go higher? You solve a bigger problem for a different person. What does that mean? That means the employee is solving a problem for the business owner, so it's a self-employed person, and you could also solve problems for investors. What happens when, instead of just, say, working with maybe you're currently a B2C type of customer or business, or you want to be B2C, or you're currently B2C, but what if you change and add B2B? For example, as a short-term rental provider, primarily we are B2C, except when certain situations change, and now, guess what? We can be more B2B because the hospital may need a place to house their nurses, right? And that's what we constantly are now trying to do, is to stay in front of the hospitals that our locations are nearby, the hospitals that all of our students have. I mean, there isn't a state that's not covered. We've got locations everywhere between myself and all of our students. So we're staying in front of the hospitals, just letting them know, hey, we're here. Hey, we're here. Hey, we're here. So that way you can quarantine. You don't have to stay in a hotel with, 100 other people. You can have your own kitchen, own stuff, That's important right now. But by changing from B2C and morphing over to B2B, does that increase the income? The answer is yes. Okay? So hopefully that also makes sense. Change who you're serving. Now, the next step. After you've changed who you're serving and you still want more, what you do is you change how many people, how many times you can deliver the service in the same hour. This is the popular concept or term is the word scale, right? So let me see. Let me write some. Yeah, I'm gonna learn at some point. Thank you. I need to order that stuff to clean this thing. Yeah, that. I love it. My 12-year-old, she's awesome. She's always like really close and almost right off screen, right when I need something. Anyway, what it comes down to is the concept of scale is the thing that we can use to then deliver more value. Thank you. More value to more people. All right, so let's get rid of this stuff. Woohoo! Yep. And I'll explain it using, again, and forgive the examples that are, most of my examples are typically going to be in real estate because it's the business model I know the most about. It's one I've practiced for, wow, a while, more than a decade. So that's where we, that just tends to be where we lie. All right, so here's what I mean when I'm talking about delivering more value in the same hour. Many of you, maybe you are, maybe you're not, you may be familiar with a gentleman by the name of Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn. I'll write it here. Jim, oh, that came out perfect. R-O-H-N. I think I'm learning how to use these markers still. It's like you got to shake them up or something every time before you want to use them. All right, Jim Rohn. There was a phrase that he would say, said it's not about how much you, it's not about how much like you earn in an hour, but the value you bring to the hour. For example, today, whether you realize it or not, today, you were given, or at least we believe, assuming you make it to the end, right? You were given 1,440 minutes today, okay? It's also, let's call it 24 hours. Now, if you are working physically, right, and generating income, your body, yourself, typically, you can, we'll call it, 10 to maybe 14 hours of quote unquote activity that you can put towards that working. Now, not everybody wants to do that. Totally understood. I'm not saying you should either, but we know that the nurses and doctors are currently doing this, if not more, because they're rising to the call. Typically, when we want this number to be closer to 8, right? Okay, here's my point. In this case, when you are paid per hour, the most you could ever earn is 24 times whatever your pay rate is, right? Per hour. It's just never going to get more than that because it is tied to this. You can't bring any more value to the hour. In fact, the only way for you to make this system earn more money is for you to add skills. You have to get better, which is, okay, good. You can do that, right? You can start out as maybe a real estate agent and then go to real estate broker. I am neither, but in theory, the broker makes more than the agent because they got, more people. They're adding more skills. Or maybe you are a notary and now you're adding additional lines of service and business somehow to that. Great. But you are that. Or you had a restaurant and before it was all chicken and now you've also decided to add salads. I don't know. You deliver. You add more skills because you go in there, you learn how to get better at the thing you do so you can charge more for the thing you do. That's where this is. But this obviously has its limitations, especially from a physical standpoint. The next thing to think about, though, like I said, is you want to bring more value to the hour. This is one of the many, many, many reasons that real estate got my attention because when I look at it, all right, and specifically, again, from a short-term rental standpoint, because like I said, it's just what I know the best. From a short-term rental standpoint, all right, this is how I look at it. When you have a real estate business, etc., your inventory, okay, what you sell, and this is really key to understand, what you sell is not anything other than time. That's supposed to be a clock. You sell time. That is what you have. Now, you may debate this all you want, but traditionally a landlord would sell 365 days on one contract with a 30-day payment plan. 30-day payment plan, 30-day pay plan. That's what happens. They sell all 365 at once. You're selling time. Here's my point though. When you are trying to bring more value to the hour, so if I'm selling time, okay, basically if you start doing things or thinking about your assets in this way, this is the power of assets. Assets can work 24 hours a day, which is more than you or I. They can work 24 hours a day, every day. I like that. So that means, in this particular case, when we're talking about money or value to an hour, if we have one house, that's the best I got right there. One little house, okay, the most you can get paid on is per day is 24 hours, right? 24 hours of use. Notice if you're gonna sell the use of something, you still own it. This camera's just always right here. If I let someone use this camera, it's still my camera, right? But hey, yeah, you can borrow it. It'll be $5 an hour. I'm making up numbers, but it'll be $5 an hour, but you can borrow it. Knock yourself out, okay? And now what happens is that this camera can produce $120 a day. Wow, that's a lot for this thing. Anyway, my point is, you would be able to begin to let the use of it. So you have assets right now, but the question is have you taken it to the next step to learn how to take that asset, then sell its use to someone who actually needs it? Real estate's just the easy example. But here's the fun part. What happens if you have more than one? What if you have two? What does this number start to do? So if I now have two houses, right? If I have two, then even though 24 hours in real time was processed, I can now get paid for 48 hours of use. I think you're beginning to see what I'm talking about, right? Same thing here. What happens now when we go to 3, right? So now we can get paid 72 hours of use. It gets really, really clear, really, really fast that assets are the thing. Typically though, the thought process is, and now I want you to raise your hand, self-identify here. Sometimes, like right now, when I say the word assets or when I say this is what can happen, maybe it's not new information to you, but you still feel excluded because you said to yourself in some way, shape, or form, be honest, put a little hand emoji, you said to yourself in some way, shape, or form, but Jay, I don't have money. Or, yeah, that's good for other people, but you don't know my situation. Or, I can't do that, I've never done that. Or, that'd be nice, yeah, one day, but right now I just want to eat. Or, you've said something like that or are saying something like that. You don't have to say it out loud. Maybe you said it to yourself, right? And what I want to submit for your acceptance is the following phrase. Wealth is for everyone, and that means you. It's just that simple. Write that down. Someone please type that one in the chat. Wealth is for everyone, and that means you. Understand that, please, because there are principles behind building your own wealth. Now, here's the fun part. Here's what I know about each and every one of you right now, especially if you have the capacity to hear my voice right now. Watch this. You also have the capacity to make an asset today. Here's what I mean. One of the most valuable things that we all have is obviously time, but right behind that is what you know how to do. Many of you know how to do things, right? And it can be argued, but at the end of the day, knowledge can become an asset if you learn how to package it, promote it, price it properly, etc., and then you put it out there. So it starts right there. And you have a mobile device of some kind because you're watching this. Okay? So, therefore, you have everything you need to begin building an asset. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to... Now, the marketplace determines how much they're willing to pay, quote unquote, for the use of that asset. Okay? So that will determine how many assets you need to build, right? In order to earn the income that you want. Because you've got to deliver more value to the hour. That's what we're talking about. So let's revise our statement. If you want to be able to earn money, solve a problem. If you want to earn more, what you're going to do is you're going to solve a problem for a different person. And then if you want to really take that to the next level, it's you solve a problem for more people simultaneously at the same time, also known as scale, also known as build a system around it, so it doesn't require you to deliver the value. See, systems deliver the service. Period. Systems deliver the service. This is why, well, nearly every business you've ever seen works so well, is because they have a system. Disneyland has a system that delivers its service. That's just how it works. Hollywood has a system that delivers its service. And you know what? They have the ability to serve a lot of people simultaneously in any given hour. And when they are executing on that, well, that creates a lot of value for them. There's nothing special about that. Period. You can learn to own, control, and manipulate systems in your favor to provide value. Okay? And that's really what we're talking about here. So, and I want to leave you with these thoughts. And for those of you who understand where I'm going, the reason I said that, if this is like your first time here, I'm about to ask you a question to type in the chat so that I know that you are receiving value. But there are some other lessons that I want to make sure that we absolutely nail from that video, okay? Absolutely nail. And get ready. One is done is better than perfect. Like literally, done is better than perfect. Because it is not a perfect solution. When you go back and if you want, you go read through that article, you'll see that it's not a perfect solution, but it's better than none. So done is better than perfect. And it's still valuable because it's done. In fact, $815 million worth of value because it's done. Also, as I said, you don't have a money problem. Nobody does. We don't, you don't. I mean, just again, most of us don't have a problem that would not be solved, and I'll be ridiculous with, I'll say $100,000. Probably don't even take that much, but I'll just throw that number out there. Most of us don't have a problem that wouldn't be solved with that, okay? And then, lastly, start before you're ready. We talked about this because it's not like they went to school to become an entrepreneur. It's not like they had a perfect business plan or idea. They didn't like, well, I need to go find investors first before I do anything. No, they didn't do any of that. They weren't thinking, but I don't have all the money to, I mean, that's just too big. I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, who on earth, how would I get it to the marketplace and do that? I can't do that. I've never done that before. Any of those thoughts would have prevented this particular solution from coming to the marketplace. In fact, all of them would have, it's crazy when you think about it, because you've had, and I know this, you've had great ideas. You've walked through a retail store, you've been online, you're like, oh my God, I had that idea. You have had that idea too. The difference is that, they took action. Imperfect action, couldn't complete it themselves, wasn't concerned about that because they just trusted, believed, I don't know, that the resources that they needed, the missing information, would show up. They just started taking action. It wasn't about, okay, cool, this is a great idea, and I see it could be this big. How on earth would we ever get it to the government so what I need to do then is let me go take a class on how to get to the government. No, they went as far as they could see. And when they got there, then they could see further. And that's all that is happening in this particular case. Now, I don't know, did they get a patent? How are they themselves, is that married couple themselves going to, earn anything from this? I hope so. I don't know. But think about it, guys. The product is just now here. The service is actually a service. It's just now here. Okay? And $815 million has been committed to it so far, and it will be used by more cities, more states, more everything, more hospitals, because we gonna need these masks for quite some time. Period. Right? Understand that, your idea, thank you, understand that your ideas are valuable. But the marketplace can't pay you for them unless you package them in a way for the marketplace to be able to use them. Anyway, I'm hoping that this too has been yet another valuable time that we have spent together. If so, do me a favor. Here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to type in the chat one thing that you have learned, one thing that has helped you from today, from the information you just received, from the thoughts you just received, from the concepts that were just shared with you. What is something that's going to help you take that next step towards your 13-week goal? What is something that's going to help you begin to perceive, so maybe, I don't know, things that you formed an opinion about before that now you're thinking of slightly differently. What is that? What is something that was of benefit to you? And if nothing was of benefit to you, that's fine. Let us know. It's all good. Either way, what happens is that we get better, right? And we can get better together. And that's exactly what it looks like. Because see, you probably have been asked, does money grow on trees or something of that nature? And my answer is yes. Because how many ideas can you have, right? I can have a lot of ideas in any given day. Don't execute on them all, but how many can you have, right? It's like your intellectual capacity for innovation is massive. And sometimes it takes catastrophic events, if you will, to ignite your desire, my desire, our desire, need to even try to come up with something. So just to understand, it's always been there for you. And now you're just being given an opportunity to share it with, in this case, the world, right? So, as you're typing in the chat, I just want to type one thing, just one thing that helped you, that you were able to learn something that will help you to grow in some way, shape, or form. And again, for those of you who are on Facebook, do me a favor. Make sure you get over to our Facebook page at facebook.com/CashFlowDiary Live. Because we are going to be cutting down the number of locations we're streaming to so that we can make sure to be able to more easily follow all of the chat that's happening everywhere. That would be great. And then for those of you who are on YouTube, you are in the correct spot already. So please just go to youtube.com/CashFlowDiary. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button as well. And then as a reminder, if you desire to go down the path of short-term rentals, by all means, do so. Let's do it together. You can go to cashflowdiary.com/learn live starting this Wednesday. We are going to be doing presentations, and it's going to be awesome because it's going to be all day, right? All day, which means get some sleep, right? That's what it means. It means get some sleep, have plenty of order, have a notebook. We'll even introduce you to a tool on Wednesday that you'll be able to use so that you can get your own transcription of all of the content for free. So we'll help you with that too. So that way you can go back and look at your notes and pay it. You can do all the things that you always want to do. You'll have what you need to go and be successful with it. So get over to cashflowdiary.com/learn live. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to look and see what you guys have said today and what you've learned, because that's always encouraging to me to find out. Let's see. Yes, I like it. Definitely like it. Let's see. Whoa. Scroll back. Oh, wow. You guys have been doing lots of talking. All right. So we've got Delvin is talking about, yes, he saw potential. No, my battery went dead.
Oh, so you're still alive.
I think my battery went dead. Yeah, my bat. One, two. There we go. Yeah, the battery went dead. So right in the middle. All right. So where was I? 1, 2, 3. Got it. We were reviewing what you guys had said. There we go. Bill says, I have an opportunity to pick up a second unit and renew the lease on your first. Okay, got it. But the landlord will only do a lease through November. Well, that's weird. Why? Like, I would want to know why. I just would want to know why, right? Because there's a reason that that's the case. I would want to know why. And maybe what you need to be doing is adding additional landlords to your list, Bill. That's really strange. Hey, Dean, some of the best companies are spawned in times of crisis. Good entrepreneurs figure out how to fulfill the new needs. Great entrepreneurs know how to sustain it. Okay, so Dean, because you brought this up, I wasn't going to talk about this until later, but here's a sneak peek at some more content that we're going to be doing this week, because I thought it would be interesting. I had that exact same thought, and I'm going to share with you the following. My friend, where'd it go? 1, 2. No. Yes. I'm looking for a particular document because I think you, based upon what you just said there, I know that you're going to, I think you'll like this because I did. Yes, there it is. So here are some companies that were founded, okay, during recessions, okay? companies that were founded during a recession that you may have heard of. And it's I'm gonna go back 90 years. So we're gonna go back almost to the beginning of the 1900s. Okay, you tell me how many of these companies you have heard of during this crazy time. Number one, and I'm going to oldest to newest. Walt Disney, Hewlett Packard, Burger King, really? Wow, they were after the Korean War, if you were wondering. Hyatt, who's that? Trader Joe's. They were founded in the recession of 69 to 1970. Federal Express, after an oil crash. Microsoft, Electronic Arts, after the dot-com bubble. Pops, Electronic Arts. Anyway, and then we've got Slack, Stripe, I think that's Square, Uber, and Airbnb. All I'm saying is, yeah, where there's chaos, there's cash flow. It's not a lack of opportunity in the marketplace at all. At all. Dalton, earn income by solving a problem. Absolutely. And what is this? You are currently used to, I want to solve problems. I love serving people. Yeah, absolutely. Keisha, Bill, I think this is good, honestly. If I can do this one of mine, I would. Yeah, absolutely. Dante, wealth is for, Adriana, you got it. Wealth is for everyone. And that means you. Please remember that. Just always remember that. And then, sorry, looking at the wrong thing over here. Got it. Wealth, where was I? Start before you're ready, right? You can't wait. The opportunity keeps knocking and it will just keep knocking. Get it done. Don't dwell on your thoughts and give yourself a chance. Right. If you don't start taking action, you don't get an opportunity in some cases, right? This idea was not going to wait to be perfectly formed, right? It had to happen. What I can imagine that somewhere in the United States, there's a person or a couple or two friends who saw that same or will see this same news article and be like, I had that idea, right? It'll happen. Start now, go as far as you can see, the rest will come. Absolutely, absolutely, 100%. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I definitely appreciate the time that you guys are investing in becoming better, changing the ideas, looking for a way for yourselves to add more value to the marketplace, because that's really what it comes down to. Remember, it's not about how much you earn an hour. It's about the value you can bring to the hour. And because you can learn, because it is a skill set, because it is something that you have the ability to do, what you and I must do is own, control, and manipulate more assets and sell the use of them into the marketplace in order to put ourselves, our family, and everything else we care about in a better position. This is something you do have the ability to do. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun talking to you today. I look forward to talking to you soon. Until next time.